Good morning, my friends. This is Friday, October 7th, and I was just walking back from my morning walk. It's a beautiful morning. All during the summer, we had like 3 months straight of morning temperatures being anywhere from 76 to 79, 80 degrees at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. And the humidity was just, you just come out and drip. So this morning was 64 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I can tell you that I have a shorts and t-shirt on, and I'm just a little bit chilly. And the humidity is still in the 80-some%. But I wanted to show you my beautiful Drake elm tree. And this was planted, I think probably about close to 10 years ago. It was a freebie from Duke Energy, which is our electric company, and they were trying to get people to plant trees, and of course I was standing right in the line saying thank you. And this tree was probably about that tall, just a little bitty thing. And so you can see in 10 years of having irrigation and fertilizer, it has really taken off. And then the first quite a few years, when it would drop its leaves, I would grumble and because I had to sweep these leaves up. Well, last year, with the pandemic and everything, I think I started a YouTube channel here, and I started watching other people and started thinking, wow, those leaves really could be composted and I could go much more organic. And I've never really been that much into chemicals, but I really got into organic. So last year I took all of the leaves and I either stacked them up around the elm itself, or I put them back behind here in that front yard planter. And so that worked out great. This year I'm not only doing that, but I'm saving some of them to feed to my worms, to act as the brown part of bedding and feeding them. But I just wanted to show you how pretty it is out here. We had a hurricane go through last Wednesday, Thursday morning, so it's really only been about 8 days since the hurricane came through, and we were very, very lucky. It did not do any damage to our roof. It didn't do any damage we have 33 solar panels up there, and they hung on, and it didn't, the little soffits that are up underneath, a lot of the times they're like up underneath your roof. I'll take you over and show you when we get there. And it's called a soffit, and it protects the roof from anything getting up in there. And a lot of times we have heavy winds, we'll lose a few. And so we didn't lose any of that. This bougainvillea, however, did break its strap. You can see there's an orange strap there. We had a green strap around it before, and it snapped it. And that's a 1-inch heavy gauge. So it just took this, and the whole thing was laying out. It came out to about here in the driveway, and we had to have Rick and another guy and myself, and we got up underneath it and pushed it back, because boy, when it was wet, I can tell you it was heavy, and I still have spikes in my hand, but for the most part it held pretty well. You can see the solar panels up there, well, and there's ones on the side of the house. Here is the main grouping. Here there's only 6, and on the side there's 27. But everything everything hung on really well. All of our furniture and everything was inside the house to protect that. And I need to come out and do some replanting. These are marigolds coming up in the front here, and I've planted those. I just took some seeds and I broadcasted them, and the marigolds just took off. The pentas didn't do very well this year. The problem with a Drake elm is that it has so many surface roots that it almost acts like a webbing on the top, and it's very, very hard to get plants to grow. They really have to, work their way through the root, through the surface roots, and then hang on. Excuse me, I'm having my morning voice. This is Liriope, and Liriope isn't going anywhere. The only place Liriope is going is further along. It does bloom, and it does send out this pretty little purple. Well, they've already dropped their little flowers. I don't see any that are actually left. No, don't see any. You can see Gwendolyn is getting overtaken. The Liriope has gone from being about a foot high to about a foot and a half high. My little garden that I planted over here. Now here you can see the pentas. They are a pretty flower. And I planted marigolds. And the marigolds, I don't think they really haven't sent out any bloom heads yet, but they're still coming on. And again, we had the hurricane last week, and we got 12 inches of rain, and I mean it really pounded us. And azaleas came through, crepe myrtle came through. I would have thought it would have lost more of its leaves. With the hurricane, we got a lot of leaves off that Drake elm tree. And I wanted to show you the leaves. They're really, it makes a great, I mean, it's really nice. This is really going to be nice for the worms. They're going to love it. So, I wish they would, the marigolds would start to bloom, but maybe by next month. Anyway, come back over here, and you can see that now the arborvitaes, we actually took those off the pedestals and then laid them down because we didn't have our winds were maybe 60 miles an hour at the worst, and of course the wind chimes, everything else came down. To tell you how strong a hurricane is, the water rock over here, can you see this water rock? It's a 40-gallon. And a gallon of water weighs 8.5 pounds, I believe. So even if you took it 8 times 4, it's 320 pounds. That probably weighs close to 25 pounds by itself. But if you just saw it 350 pounds, it's up on bricks. I'll walk you over here. It's up on these decorative blocks. Rick said when he came out, this rock is full, and it was pushed back about 6 inches and had pulled the tubing out because it was pushed back. So can you imagine if you were a human being and you were out here, you would have been definitely blown back for sure. And yet nothing here was disturbed. I'm getting loads and loads of weeds because of all the rain. All of my little plants were out. I have some onions coming up, and I have some carrots trying to poke out, and that's lettuce, and this is the giant Japanese greens that are mustard greens. They're kind of a wasabi tasting flavor. I've got almost 2 of those, and then in the background I've got that's kale coming up back there, a cranberry hibiscus on the left, and a avocado on the right. I haven't gotten my Halloween stuff out yet, or my fall things. I have 2 Principe Borghese tomatoes that I'm actually thinking about moving to the backyard and planting them back there so that they're not out here. And I think that's probably about it. You can see this was all the reason it snapped. This whole area back here was overgrown like it is in the front, and it had wrapped around. And so there was probably, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds loose, so that whenever the wind was coming back and forth, it was just whipping it, whipping it, whipping it. And the strap that was holding it was just wearing and wearing and wearing until it finally snapped. So anyway, but I just wanted to give you just a little update. Things need to be trimmed back, but we've kind of gotten life back to normal. And it's funny because after a hurricane, it's like after you've spent a week or however many days just cleaning things up, you just kind of go, oh, you know what? It doesn't look perfect, but it doesn't look bad. Let's just take a break. And so, anyway, we haven't had, normally on Wednesdays, we have our garden pickup. This is just filled, totally filled with, this is bougainvillea. All of that was in the back of that tree. And this is just, I came out here and I swept every single leaf up. And this is what the wind has blown from this Drake elm. And I think the worms will just love that. I would like to start a new experiment where I just have a bin with those leaves and maybe some coffee grounds and some worms and some, maybe my banana splits, and see what grows from there. So anyway, I hope you all are having a great day, and thanks if you watched the whole thing. I hope you'll subscribe and ring the bell. I would certainly appreciate it. And come back and see me again real soon, because I'll be here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.